Hi guys, this is Lalana. Thanks for tuning into the Sovereign Path. So today we're going to talk about inner union. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into inner union and hit on a few key points that I keep running into with a lot of my coaching clients who are now anchoring and embodying inner union. And so one of the things that comes up often, and this is a really interesting thing to note. So when you're starting to really embody neutrality, when you're starting to really anchor into neutrality, and then you feel yourself shifting towards inner union, which you will feel this, you will feel it coming straight through your heart space. There is like this gentle hum that sort of takes over your awareness, right? And it can feel a bit like, some people describe it as just being everything suddenly too still, or everything feels like very peaceful all of a sudden. And what do I do with this? How do I navigate this space of peace? How do I live in the 3D physical world, having this place that feels just very calm, this very settled, it feels very grounded. So it can feel sort of, I guess, unnerving for some of us when we start to really anchor into this state of consciousness, this frequency and this vibration, because the separated parts of us and the nervous system specifically is used to running on highs and lows. It's used to running on fight or flight responses. It's generally used to, for most of us, being dysregulated. And so since we're used to that, when you start feeling healthy again, when you start feeling calm, when you start feeling peaceful, when you feel grounded and just positive and just love coming through you for no external reason whatsoever that you could point to, when you start feeling the true consciousness just flooding through you, for the separated parts of us that we have been identifying with for so long, this does feel weird. It feels a bit alien. It feels a bit off-putting. It feels as if we still need to do something. Like, don't I still need to do something else? Is this it? You know, I feel like I'm just like kind of sitting here now, and I don't really feel the need to like do the inner work anymore, do the shadow work anymore. I feel like most of the things have been cleared, most of the things have been transmuted. And so naturally, it's like there's that part of us that is still looking for more things that it needs to do on the path in order to make it feel like that up and down thing, right? The passion, the woundedness, the abandonment, the rejection, the highs and lows. And it's like, as much as we don't like feeling that, and as much as we want to, transmute all of those things and come out of that operating system, when you finally do, there is this feeling of, okay, yeah, this feels better. This feels like relief, but what now? What do I do now, right? So I just want to bring that through in this video because it's completely normal. That is a part of this path, is you suddenly coming into neutrality and then anchoring into inner union, embodying it, and everything just feels peaceful. It feels safe. You feel very, very present in a way that you will not have experienced in this lifetime. And again, there are going to be parts of you, the old aspects of you, the old identifications and definitions that you have been, navigating and experiencing. They're going to feel like they want a voice. They still have more things to say. They still have more things to do. It's sort of like when you find yourself in a healthy relationship for the first time. A lot of people who experience anxious attachment style or avoidant attachment style and then feel themselves moving into, a very stable attachment style where they're not running, they're not chasing, they're not doing any of these things anymore. They feel very grounded from within, and they start experiencing that healthy relationship with self, and potentially a healthy relationship with others. And feeling that healthy relationship with others, and even with self, it can feel a bit boring to some people. It can feel a bit like, where did the passion go? Where did the highs and lows go? We get so used to those spikes of energy, and we think that that's normal because that's how we've always operated. But in truth, that is how the nervous system has always been dysregulated, and we have just gotten used to feeling anxiety. And so when we don't feel anxiety in regard to feeling abandonment in romantic partnerships, or rejection here, or however that's played out in anyone's life, or we don't feel like the constant need to pull away and to guard ourselves and protect ourselves, when those masks start to fall away and we start to actually feel a healthy interaction with self and a healthy interaction with others, it can feel strange. It can feel like, is this it? This is just boring. I don't feel the heat. I don't feel the fire. I need the challenge. All of those things that we have been running, that have been saying, if I don't have this sort of dysfunctionality, then I don't feel like I'm alive, right? This is what I hear all the time. And it's actually what's been happening is that most of us have been running on some sort of adrenaline, right? Some sort of oxytocin rush, all of those sort of things. And then thinking that that was just how relationships go. This is the way relationships have always gone for me. I've always had the highs and lows, and so that's always been normal for me. But in truth, again, that's a fight or flight response. That's the nervous system being dysregulated. That's us basically bracing ourselves for having some sort of abandonment thing come up, or someone bracing themselves for actually having someone, touch their heart and then be vulnerable for the first time. And so they just absolutely will not allow that to go through. And so when all of that starts to fall away, you start to feel very stable within, just on your own. Yeah, it can feel strange. It can feel boring. It can feel quiet. It can feel like stillness. And as much as that feels like relief, and it feels like peace, and it feels really nice, on the same token, it can also simultaneously feel like, is this it? What am I supposed to do? Because we're not used to what healthy feels like. We are not used to what regulated feels like. And so it can start to feel sort of strange until it doesn't. And then, obviously, inner union, the embodiment of inner union, and your true source consciousness just flooding through you in a very loving, very buoyant, very peaceful way, you remember, right? You start to remember, oh, this is the truth of what I am. This is the truth of what I have always been. And I am experiencing my wholeness again. I'm not experiencing separation anymore. I'm experiencing completion. I'm experiencing love, right? The existence of love, the frequency of love, the truth of love again. And this feels amazing. And more, that becomes your default system. That just becomes your anchor. It becomes what and who you are. It becomes your embodiment. And this is the way that you just start living. This is your way of being. It's a remembrance of this is what I've always been. But up until that point of having that full-blown remembrance and really embodying that energy, it can feel a little bit like, is this it? What am I supposed to do now? This feels a little bit boring. I'm kind of looking for different escape hatches to kind of have, like, again, this heat or this passion or this fire. So keep in mind that that is just the old aspect of the separation parts of you that are still looking in the same avenues, in the same directions that it used to look, that it's always been looking to get some sort of a gratification or validation or things like that, which make us feel great in the moment, but are not sustaining and are not lasting because they are moving from some sort of displacement you know, anxiety, attachment, like I say, avoidant attachment, all of those sort of things that are absolutely what we have been experiencing, right, as we've been going through the separation consciousness paradigm. But what you are actively releasing bit by bit, piece by piece, part by part, as you're going through the awakening process and coming back into the remembrance, into the truth of what you are, as all of these masks and veils and layers start to get peeled away. And then it feels like a gentle hum to be in inner union. And that gentle hum over time starts to feel like very loving and peaceful and just your simple way of being. And those parts of you that are looking for, you know, all of this excitement and all of these things, and, you know, confusing that for the excitement means, you know, love, and all of the attachment means love, and expectation, you know, all the highs and lows, that will start to fade out over time, and it won't feel like something that you're missing anymore. You will have the wherewithal that those things were aspects of the separated parts of you that were looking for things outside of itself in order to make it feel whole, complete, alive. And now, as you're going through your awakening and coming into inner union, you have found what you were always looking for in the external reality. You have found that it's been within you this entire time. And that feels like peace. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope that you have an awesome day. Mwah.